Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. And today I'll be completing a refresher on charge-off removals in 2025. Last year, I covered several videos on charge-offs and removing them in various methods. Every single video is still valid right now. However, I want to give an additional strategy with this video since we did have some issues with the CFPB and there were some concerns that were raised. I do want to clarify a few things in this video. The first thing I want to clarify is that you don't need the CFPB to remove a charge off. The CFPB was just an easy way for you to dispute these accounts online. There are various ways that you can still do this. I've been updating old videos about options of disputing through the Better Business Bureau, the BBB, and you can also dispute this directly with the credit bureau's websites. And if all else fails, you can send a letter through certified mail. So as I go through the steps, I want to overemphasize, please understand that the methods that I'm giving you, they are based on the FCRA. That is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. As long as you know your rights and your rights have not changed, these methods still work. You can do exactly everything in this video, in any old video. The only thing that really changes is the mode of a delivery, whether it's through the CFPB, the BBB, or through the mail. That's the only thing that changes. The verbiage, everything else is the exact same. Charge-offs, they are the highest level of delinquency that you can have besides a bankruptcy on your credit report. And that's what makes them one of the hardest items to get removed from your credit to date. And I'm going to show you step by step the best way that you can dispute charge-offs to get them permanently deleted from your credit report. And this has been and still is, for me, the most accurate way that I can provide to show you how to get this information removed. I've done the same thing that you guys have. I went through all the videos. I looked at other people's content when I was trying to remove them. I had more than 8 charge-offs. I got them all deleted. It took me about 24 months, so a little over 2 years. However, I didn't have all of these methods in order to do it. I developed these over time, and now you're getting them upfront in various different strategies, and you're going to get all this information for free. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, before we start, I want to preface this by saying there's no one that can guarantee you that a charge-off will be removed from your credit report or in any certain period of time. I'm not a credit repair specialist. This is not a credit repair channel. I don't want your money, so please don't email me. Don't ask me on the side, can you do this for me? If you do, I will just delete the message. This is DIY credit repair tips. I fix my own credit using all the methods that I provide on this channel and that I'm providing you today. There's, again, various other methods that you can take a look at, and I'm sharing them with you for free completely. The only reason why I'm doing this is because all of the other videos on my channel have to do with business funding, leveraging debt, and different ways to make money. One of the, most important ways to do that involves leveraging your personal credit. And if you don't have good personal credit, you can't really do anything else that I talk about. So this is the prerequisite to everything else that I have to speak on. It really doesn't make sense for me to talk about that if I don't address this. That's the only reason why we're discussing it. And I have my own personal experience with this. I went through it as well. So if you're going through it, I definitely understand where you're coming from. Now, what I can promise you is that if you follow these steps properly, it will greatly increase your chances of success with getting these accounts deleted. Most of you are probably watching this because you've tried my previous methods, hard inquiry, collection, late payments, and chances are you probably had some success with those methods. And because you've had some success with those, you want to take a look at what else I have to offer. Makes a lot of sense. Charge-offs are different. The video that you watched on collections, you cannot use that same method for a charge-off. Hard inquiries, it doesn't work. It does not work the exact same way. The difficult part about charge-offs is that they're not one size fits all. Hard inquiries and collections are kind of all the same. The method really is the same no matter who you're dealing with. Charge-offs are as unique as a fingerprint. No one's one account is the same as anyone else's, not one. That's why you can't just make a one tailor-made strategy for everyone that just will always work. That's the reason why charge-offs need so many various strategies. I want to set the right expectation when you're watching this video, and I want you to understand that you can do this yourself if you're willing to put in the work. It's work for me. I'm hoping that it'll work for you as well. All right, so now that we got that out the way, I want to break this down as if I'm talking to a kid or someone that knows absolutely nothing about credit, about charge-offs, or any of this stuff. It's very important for you to not only just follow step by step what someone is doing, but to understand, fully understand and comprehend what it is that you're trying to accomplish and how you can get this done. If you understand what you're doing, you'll never need to watch my videos or anyone else's videos ever again, because you'll understand that this process doesn't really involve following a particular person on YouTube, or it's not a trick. It's you gathering information and using the law in order to get this stuff removed to your benefit. All right, so let's start by talking about what a charge-off actually is. A charge-off means a company has written off a debt because it does not believe it will receive the money that it's owed. You're still responsible for paying this debt once it's charged off. Paying off or settling that overdue debt does not mean that it's removed from your credit report. So even if you pay off a charge-off, all that does is change the status of the account from settled or paid, or maybe settled for less than. When you pay it off, it does extend the statute of limitations, which means it can remain on your credit report for an additional 7 years. So for this reason, we focus on deleting the account instead of just paying it off, or instead of waiting these 7 years. When it comes to charge-offs, there are various different types, and I want to go over each category that I think is important. There may be more, but these are the ones that are usually what you see on most people's credit reports. Now, when it comes to different type of charge-offs you will encounter, you have high balance charge-offs. A high balance charge-off can be anything above $1,500 depending on your situation. Sometimes you may want to avoid disputing these. The balance, when it's high, it means more likely that you may be subject to legal action. The higher the balance, the more likely that someone may file a lawsuit against you. Now, I just want to make this very, very clear because I want to address everything when it comes to charge-offs, but you can be sued regardless to if you get the account removed or not. So you have to take that into account as well. So whether you do or whether you don't, it's pretty much the same thing. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Just know that it's more likely for it to happen the higher the balance. Now, a low balance charge-off is anything below $1,500. Usually you get these deleted very easily by using factual disputes. And that's what we're going to be doing for this particular video. There are, again, various methods, but for the purpose of this one, we're going to focus on factual disputes. We just went over this, but I just want to give a little bit more detail between paid and settled. So paid or settled accounts, either you pay the balance in full or you settle for a lower amount, whatever the case may be, these accounts have already been legally validated. So when we talk about factual disputes, they're normally done in a 3-round process, and they can also go beyond 3 rounds. But to initiate this, we normally ask for a preliminary investigation, then a reinvestigation, and then we present our factual dispute. When it comes to accounts that are paid and accounts that are settled, because they're already legally validated, you can actually skip right to round 3 and start your factual dispute. There's no need for you to do round 1 and round 2. A transferred account is an account that usually has a 0 balance, and it should indicate that the account has been transferred or sold to someone else. Now, if you have an account that says sold or transferred, but you don't have a 0 balance, you'll definitely want to follow the reinvestigation process where you do your preliminary investigation, reinvestigation, and then you submit your factual dispute. Now, there are non-transfer charge-offs. You dispute these the same way as the low balance charge-offs, round 1, round 2, and then round 3 for your factual dispute. Now, in order for you to do this properly, you need to check your credit report, and you need to make sure that you're actually getting your credit report from annualcreditreport.com. In past videos, I talk about different reasons why you need to use, like, let's say, Identity IQ to make things easier. ScoreSense kind of has the same setup. You can get your credit report from Experian and get all 3 bureaus. But here's the thing. The only credit report that you can get that will have all of your actual account details is going to be from annualcreditreport.com. You can also request it from the credit bureaus, but annualcreditreport.com pulls the exact same information, and you can get it for free every single week. So every week you can request this report and see an updated copy of each credit report from each bureau. Now, keep in mind that is only as of the time of recording this video. This is something that happened during COVID, and they just never stopped doing it. It used to be only once a year that you could get this for free, but it's weekly, and it's been going on for a few years now. So it looks like hopefully it's going to be something that will stick around, but that may change depending on the time that you're watching this video. The only other thing that I would like to mention is that when it comes to TransUnion, if you have a dispute that is ongoing with TransUnion, they will not allow you to get your report while a dispute is processing. So just keep that in mind when you're going through this and you're disputing information. If you're doing a lot of it at the same time, don't be surprised if for whatever reason you can't access your TransUnion report while you're in the midst of a dispute. Once the dispute has been closed, you'll have access to that report. So just, don't get caught off guard with that. That's normal. It happens to everybody. That's just something that you're going to expect along the way. Other than that, all the other reports, you can get them perfectly fine once a week as of the recording of this video. Now, I broke down disputing a charge-off into 4 simple parts. And step 1, if you guys watched any of my previous videos, is going to be the same. Step 1 is that you're going to send an investigation complaint. Please note, you never send your factual dispute initially to dispute a charge-off. What I mean by that is your information is your ammunition. You don't want to give them all of the discrepancies or inaccuracies up front. You do not want to do that. You want to do a preliminary investigation, a reinvestigation, and then you want to ask them to actually delete because of the following inaccuracy. And I'm going to get more into detail about why we do that in the next part of the video. Now, for step 2, you're going to send your reinvestigation. That is your follow-up complaint. And then step 3 will finally be your factual dispute. For example, you can do date of last activity, the payment history. These are things that I would dispute first. They usually work very well. And if you have a charge off that's old, you normally find a lot of inaccuracies. Then for step 4 and beyond, which can be step 4, round 4, whatever you want to call it, round 4 can be any other factual dispute. If the account doesn't get deleted in round 3, you keep submitting other factual disputes that you can find. And again, it could be plenty of them. I'll give you a list of reasons later in the video. Now, all of this information that I'm providing you came from the FCRA, again, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And then we'll be going over to the Cornell Law School of Legal Information Institute. The reason why I always recommend going there is because it actually breaks down the law in a very simple way for anyone to understand. That way you don't have to try to decipher what's being said. They can tell you in a very easy, simple manner. And as you guys may or may not be aware, in the last few videos that I've updated for various credit repair methods, I've been talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I've been pulling it up and I've been reading it because I really want you to understand anything that I say on my videos came from this. I'm not giving you anything it's not a trick. It's not a hack. It's not a loophole. There's nothing like that. Any of those are just buzzwords that people just say in videos to grab your attention. I understand that. It's great for when you're trying to get people to watch your content. And that's fine as long as the information works. But if you want to figure out what to do past whatever I say, everything is here. So let's break it down and really try to understand exactly what we're doing here. So think of this like the rule book of credit repair. It tells you everything that you can do. It tells you everything that the credit bureaus can do. The credit bureaus are just private companies. They're not government agencies. They have no right to do anything when it comes to reporting your information. They report what you allow them to report. So if you allow them to do something, then they will. Anyone will do anything that you allow them to do to you. If you don't, you have to speak up and say something. That would be a dispute. Now, I'm just going to scroll down because for the purpose of this video, I already know the section that I want to show you. And it's going to be section 623, responsibilities of furnishers of information to consumer reporting agencies, 15 USC. And usually this is the one that everybody references whenever they're doing a dispute. But let's actually click on it for 1 second and let's talk about exactly what's going on here. Subsection 623, responsibilities of furnishers of information to consumer reporting agencies. The duty of furnishers of information to provide accurate information. So reporting information with actual knowledge of errors. A person shall not furnish any information relating to a consumer to any consumer reporting agency if the person knows or has reasonable cause to believe that the information is inaccurate. Very simple. In reporting information after notice and confirmation of errors, a person shall not furnish information relating to a consumer to any consumer reporting agency if the person has been notified by the consumer at the address specified by the person for such notices that specify the information is inaccurate and the information is in fact inaccurate. We're not disputing whether this account is valid or not. We're not disputing whether or not you owe a balance or not. We're disputing, is this information accurate? And if it's not, well, let's see what happens. So I just switched over to the Cornell Law Legal Information Institute. The reason why I switched over here is because the information on the FCRA can be intentionally ambiguous, which means it's very hard to be understood explicitly because the information purposely is made that way. So nothing is just said to you outright. You kind of have to interpret the information. As long as law is up to interpretation, you cannot feasibly get the same result every single time. So we have to find certain parts and certain verbiage that we can use in order to get the point across that we're trying to make. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. Now, let's look at exactly what happens when you dispute an account. Now, this is the procedure in case of disputed accuracy. So right here, it says subject to subsection F and except as provided in subsection G, if the completeness or accuracy of any item of information contained in a consumer's file at a consumer reporting agency is disputed by the consumer and the consumer notifies the agency directly or indirectly through a reseller of such dispute, the agency shall, free of charge, conduct a reasonable reinvestigation. Now notice it said a reasonable reinvestigation. When I read this, I realized if you have to do a reinvestigation, that means that there must be an initial investigation. And it lets you know right here, reinvestigations are required. So that lets me know I can't just say something is wrong, delete it. I have to ask them to investigate it. And then I also have to ask for a reinvestigation. They conduct for free of charge a reasonable investigation to determine whether the disputed information is inaccurate and record the current status of the dispute. That's why your disputes update. They have to record if you're disputing it or they're reinvestigating it. They also have to let you know if they delete the item from your file in accordance with paragraph 5 before the end of 30 days. So an investigation can only go on for 30 days. And if they cannot complete that investigation in 30 days, the information will be deleted. Now, here's section 5 that we were just talking about. Treatment of inaccurate or unverifiable information. If after any reinvestigation under paragraph 1 of any information disputed by a consumer, an item of the information is found to be inaccurate or incomplete or cannot be verified, the consumer reporting agency shall promptly delete that item of information from the file of the consumer or modify that item of information as appropriate based on the results of the reinvestigation and promptly notify the furnisher of that information that the information has been modified or deleted from the file of the consumer. So just right there, it's letting you know very, very easily if the account is inaccurate, if the account is unverifiable, if the account is incomplete. Any of these things can warrant a deletion or an update. This is the reason why you don't just send 5 factual disputes outright. Why? They can update, they can change. You're wasting your time. You need to do an investigation. You need to do the reinvestigation. And then you need to actually ask them to delete the information. And then you provide them with the reason why. That is the process for getting a charge off deleted. This is the reason why I was stressing so much that the CFPB didn't dictate whether or not this law was upheld. You dictate that. The CFPB was just an easy way to send it online and not have to send it certified mail. It just made the process faster because they can respond right away. So again, you don't need the CFPB. You don't need the BBB. You could send letters in the mail. It does take longer. The point is that all the information from past videos in this video is valid. It's all still valid. The only thing that we're changing is how you send it. All right. If you want to know how to do anything or delete anything on your credit report or to change anything, modify anything, or just know what your rights are, it's all here. The more you understand and the more that you know your rights, the easier it's going to be for you to get this information removed. All right, so now that we hopefully completely understand why we have to go through this process, let's talk about round one. So for round one, you need to send an investigation complaint. Remember, never send a factual dispute until after you have asked for your procedural investigation. You always have to send this procedural investigation as the first step. And I've given you the verbiage right here. This is the first step, round one complaint. And it says, recently I looked at a copy of my credit report. I noticed several inaccuracies on my account. This account is hurting my ability to obtain credit. It's my understanding that you will investigate this account for me to ensure accuracy. Here is the account I am asking you to verify as accurate. You put the account name, you put the account number, and you send a copy of your driver's license, a copy of your social security card. You upload this to CFPB, the BBB, you add it to your letter. You also send a proof of address. That can be a utility bill. It could be your phone bill. It could be your cover page of your bank statement. It could be your insurance. It could be your voter's registration card. Whatever the case may be, you have to send all three of these documents. If you do not, they will say that they can't verify who you are to stall you out. Do it or else it gets stalled and you'll have to repeat the process anyway. Once again, you can send this through, it doesn't matter how you do it. You could send this through the CFPB. You could send this through the BBB. You can also send it in the mail certified. Again, this is what you would do for round number one. Now, when you send this through, let's say the CFPB or the Better Business Bureau, anything like that, normally you get a response within 7 days because you're actually sending this electronically. That's what I found out from doing this various times. I found out that sending letters, you always get a letter within 30 days. They make it longer so that you can't respond in a timely fashion. It makes the process take longer. That was the whole reason for going through the CFPB, because normally they finish their dispute in a week and you can send your next round right afterwards. You can send round two as soon as they update it. And now what used to take 3 or 4 months to challenge with letters, you can do it in 3 or 4 weeks. So you can have stuff falling off in less than a month when it used to take 4 or 5 months. So that's the reason why we do it this way instead of sending out letters, even though letters work perfectly fine. That is still an option for you. Now, round number two, this is your reinvestigation complaint. This is also the verbiage. So it says, I don't agree with the account listed below, which still appears on my credit report. Even after your investigation, I would like this account immediately reinvestigated. These inaccuracies are highly injurious to my credit rating. Furthermore, in accordance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, this is public law 91 through 506. It's going to give you the section, the title, and the subsection A through D, exactly what we just went through. They need to provide you the names, the business address of each individual with whom they verify the information so that you may follow up. Please forward me and update the credit report after you have completed your investigation and corrections. Your cooperation and prompt attention is greatly appreciated. You would list the account name once again. You'd also list the account number, a copy of your driver's license, your social security card, and proof of address. You have to always add that. Now, this does a few things based off what we just read that was in the actual FCRA. You're making sure that you're saying, hey, I don't agree with your investigation. How did you do it? Who'd you speak with? When did you speak with them? I want to follow up. Sometimes people will see a deletion with just the round two. Just because of that, no investigation was ever really done. They just say it's verified by matching your personal information, which is something else that I talk about in a lot of my videos. But personal information is very important. It's important for you to remove old addresses that are tied to accounts. If you don't remove them, it does make it a lot easier to verify. So you need to delete all old information, add new information. That means old employers, old phone numbers. You should have one name, one address that's not associated with any derogatory information. That's it. One name, one address. No phone numbers, no employers, nothing else. It should all be deleted. If you want to know how to do that, I have a video on removing personal information. I'll link it here and you can watch that. Okay. I would probably take care of that before even starting this entire process with disputing charge-offs. That's just my recommendation. You'll probably get a response back if the account isn't deleted again about a week later. We're only 2 weeks in now. They're going to say, hey, the account was verified. For Experian, you'll get a notification online. If you make an account with the Equifax website, you can check the dispute daily. It'll have like a bar that tells you the status. If you see the status is completed, but the account is still there, you can just send your round 3. Same thing with TransUnion. If you just get the TransUnion site, make an account, and then log in, it'll tell you the status of the dispute. They won't notify you or update you any other way. You have to just keep checking it like periodically. But in my experience with round 1 and round 2, if you check back a week later, it's usually verified and done. Now, this is where we send round 3. We got them to do the initial investigation and confirm it was verified. We got them to do round 2 and say it was verified. Now we get to move on to round 3. Now, before we go to round 3, I want to talk about the most common inaccuracies, because I've had to dispute some accounts for like round 12, 13, 14, which means I had to send this 14, 15 times. So I want you to understand that this isn't something that's just going to magically happen overnight. I hope it's easier for you because I'm giving you all the information up front, but just know that it can take a while. All right. So the first one that I like to start with is repeated charge off, meaning if you see CO every single month, that means that they are constantly updating a charged off account. Once an account is charged off, it's dead. There's no new activity. So if you see any new activity on a charge off, that is inaccurate. All right. It's inaccurate because your statute of limitations is extended. It makes the account look newer than what it actually is. That is re-aging the account. That's illegal. The second one is not indicating when the account has been sold. That's a misrepresentation of account status. Remember, we had the transferred account, the sold account that has a balance. If you know it's been sold, but they don't list that information there, that is a misrepresentation. You need to go ahead and dispute that. That is factually inaccurate. The next one is not reflecting a zero balance after an account has been transferred or sold. That's another method called double jeopardy. I might update that method, but if not, I have a video on this channel discussing double jeopardy. I suggest that you watch that video. The next one is reporting inconsistent balances across all 3 bureaus. This is the one where I did a video with Identity IQ. Reason why? Identity IQ will list all 3 accounts. You don't need to have Identity IQ. You can just screenshot each account from annualcreditreport.com. That means sending 3 screenshots, but whichever one's easier for you. I like Identity IQ for this particular method because it sends all 3 and you can just see them side by side. It makes it easier to show the balances on each account is different from 3 different bureaus. If the information's coming from the same source, the information should always be the same. If the information is not the same, we can't tell which one is accurate, meaning this is all inaccurate information. I don't know which one is, and it's not my job to be able to tell you which one is accurate. So I'm deeming all of this inaccurate. It needs to be deleted. Your date of first delinquency. Your date of first delinquency should reflect the month and year your account was first delinquent. You may see this date change as your account ages. That's why charge-offs that are old are easier to delete, because naturally, the older they are, the more inaccuracies will happen. So if you notice that this is changed or not the same, that is illegal. It's inaccurate. It needs to be deleted. And last, if you notice any changes after 180 charged off days, that status is inaccurate. After 180 days, an account has to be charged off. It has to be. And that's an easy one for them to update as well. But that is something that you can dispute as an account attribute. Now, you may be able to find other things that you can dispute. Just in my experience, when I had to repair my own credit, these were the most common ones that I found. And these were the ones that got me deletions, among other various methods. Now, this is an example of the repeated charge off. Notice this account is an old account that was charged off March of 2022. This is actually one of my old accounts that got deleted. So charge off, charge off, charge off. It kept repeating this. Every month this account was updated. On February of 2022, when this account was completely charged off, there should have been nothing after what we see right here. There should have been one charge off and all of this should have been blank. But they're constantly updating this to hurt my credit every single month. So because of that, that's illegal. We can dispute this. So I'm going to tell you exactly how you would use a screenshot like this to complete your round 3 dispute. So this is an example of what you would send for round 3. So it says this account was charged off on the following date. Remember I said it was like March 2022. This account was charged off. Since then, this account has repeatedly been updated as charged off every month. This is an update in the payment history. A charge off should not include an active payment history. This inaccurate information falsely manipulates the statute of limitations. You failed to investigate this account properly, and your neglect has violated my rights. I am demanding a deletion of the following account: account name, account number. Now, only round 3 and beyond is when you send the driver's license, the social, the proof of address, and a screenshot of the inaccuracy, just like what I have right here. All right. Your dispute should not be more than 3 sentences long. You just want to identify the account. You want to explain what's wrong, and you want to give your desired outcome. If you want more resources on exactly how to dispute this information, or how to basically create this dispute, like past round 3, I do have an ultimate credit repair guide where it has over 40 templates of different scenarios, and it has the verbiage for you. If you want to get that, that is for purchase on my website. You don't need it. You can create your own verbiage. It's very simple, but this is the formula. Identify what the account is, explain what's wrong, and then give your desired outcome. That's all that you need to do. But this is the example of round 3. Now, the reason why I don't give round 4 and beyond is because everyone's charge off is different. So we'll go over that next, and then I'll explain once again why you have to create your own round 4 and beyond. Now, let's say after you did round 3, the account was deleted from Experian, but it's still on TransUnion, it's still on Equifax. Well, we would send round 4. And this is an example of what you can send for a round 4. The following accounts are claiming to both own the same debt with a balance. This is the double jeopardy one. If you have a collection account that has a balance and it's the same as a charge off, technically you can't have both. It has to be one or the other. So this is what I would send. The following accounts are claiming to both own the same debt with a balance. As you know, this is not possible, and this is a violation of my rights. Because of this, both accounts need to be removed from my credit report immediately due to you not properly validating the information in which a company has passed to you. Please delete immediately. So you would list the charge off account for account 1. You would list the collection account for account number 2. And then you would send driver's license, social, proof of address, and of course, the screenshots of both accounts showing these accounts have the same balance and they're both from the same place. And because you did that without properly investigating this, it needs to be deleted. So you would continue doing this from round 4 beyond. And if you obviously don't have this example on your, like if you look at your credit report and you're like, I don't have a collection for my charge off, not everyone has the exact same thing. And this is the reason why I say with charge offs, it's not a one size fits all. You have to actually look at your report, get a highlighter, find the inaccuracies, find like 3, and then say, I'm going to send round 1 and round 2. Here's my round 3. Here's my round 4. Here's my round 5. Just have them locked and loaded, just ready to go. And then as they respond, you respond and you stay on top of it. You keep doing that until all the information has been deleted. All right. The next thing that we're going to do, once again, I have videos already showing you how to do this through the CFPB. If you want to see how to do it through the CFPB, I'm going to link that video here. The other option is write a letter. You know what that means? Put your return address on the left-hand corner. Take the same verbiage that we have here. This is the body of your letter. Type it if you want. Paste it in there and then send the letter to the credit bureaus and mail it certified. That will never change. If anything changes with the CFPB, if anything changes with the BBB, that will not change. That will always stay the same. All right. So if all else fails, that's what you do. Once again, I've already talked about the CFPB method, which still works. I'm going to link that video at the end of this video if you want to see that method. If you do, there's a section in the timestamp. Jump right to where it says CFPB, click on it, and then you can go that route. I recommend going that route. So if you've watched this entire video and you know that you want to use the CFPB method, click on that video, go to CFPB, and then do that process. For this video, we're going to change it, and I'm going to be showing you how I would submit round 1 through the Better Business Bureau. All right. let's go to the website now. So currently we are on the Better Business Bureau website, and I'm going to show you how to file a complaint. Once again, if you want to use the CFPB method, I recommend that method because it is actually easier than this one. For the BBB, you can't choose to send one dispute to all three bureaus at the same time. So when it comes to this particular mode, you have to actually do this 3 times. With the CFPB, you actually can send one dispute and you can select all the 3 places you want to send it to. So, this one would take a little bit longer, but it's easier than also sending it certified mail and, cheaper. So click on file a complaint. Now, once you click on file a complaint, you want to click on I'd like to file a complaint against a business and have the BBB help me get a resolution to my problem. Then click on file a complaint. Now, again, you can't select more than one business at a time with the Better Business Bureau, unlike the CFPB. So let's just say you were going to do Experian. It's very simple. Go to Google, go to Experian, go to P.O. Box. It'll come right up. The one that I'm looking for, though, is the Allen, Texas one. If you guys have actually done a dispute before, that's the P.O. Box, the one with Allen, Texas. But double check because information changes. So at the time of recording this video, I would just make sure that that's the correct P.O. Box. Go to Google, open a tab now, type in Experian, type in P.O. Box, make sure that that's the right address because I could be wrong. All right. So select this one. And then it says, is this complaint solely about buyer's remorse? If you go through all of these options, you'll probably select no for everything, more than likely. And then really for all of these options, if we're disputing a charge off, it should be no. Okay, so this is where you want to fill out all of your information. I do really want to over stress this. You need to use an actual email address where you can be reached. Reason being, the Better Business Bureau will send you an email confirming that you were the person that actually sent this complaint before they send it to any of the bureaus. If you don't confirm that with them, it never gets sent. All right. So make sure you're using an email address always where you can be reached. Okay. So this is where you're going to be putting your complaint in right here where it says, tell us about your problem. Now, you want to state that this issue did occur in the last 12 months and no, this is not a healthcare provider issue. It's already defaulted as such. Just make sure those options are selected. Now, it does say, please do not include any personal identifiable information, including credit card numbers or social security numbers when you tell us about your problem. So in this section, what you're going to add is whatever you're putting for the round. You will need to include the account number and you will need to include the account name. You can skip the account order or tracking number section here because you're already going to add the account number right here. You can also skip the amount because you don't need to enter the amount that you paid. We're just talking about verifying accurate information, and this is the initial investigation. Now, what is your desired settlement? Your desired settlement is correction to a credit report. All right. Then right here, you upload your documents. You would upload your driver's license, your social security card, your proof of address, and that's it. Remember, you don't send a screenshot of the inaccuracy until you get to round 3 and beyond. All right. So you would upload that information here to identify you. If you do not upload that information, they will try to say that they can't verify who you are and throw out your dispute. All right. That is a stall tactic. I know what it says right here, but that's including information like that right here in the body where it says, tell us about your problem. You don't want to put that here, but you definitely want to upload that here as supporting documentation. And then you want to click continue. Now, before you submit this, step 3 is review and submit your complaint. It's going to have all your information, your complaint, what you want as the desired settlement. You're going to, of course, agree to these sections here, and then you're going to submit. So I'm going to stop right here because I don't want to submit this as an actual complaint, but just make sure that you verified everything. You verified the P.O. box in Experian where it's being sent to. You verify your information that everything is uploaded. Everything looks good. Understand that after you send this, in about 1 week, the credit bureaus will send you an update. Make sure you create an account with Equifax, create an account online. That's how you're going to track your dispute. You can go onto Equifax and you can actually see the status. You can see the same thing on TransUnion, and Experian's the only one that actually will send you alerts. So if you download the Experian app, they will send you alerts and emails. All right. So with that being said, You should be able to be notified and you know when they updated your dispute. Once it's updated, usually again in 1 week, you will then send round 2. You'll do the same process over, but you'll copy this and you'll send the round 2 information in your complaint description. Send round 2 in a week. They respond. You can again create those accounts. Some people use Credit Karma because Credit Karma like sends remark updates, and they'll say resolution resolved or complaint resolved or investigation. Like if you can also use those updates to let you know when it's done, whichever one you prefer. There's just no easy way for you to be notified unless you're actively checking it. All right. Except for with Experian. And then once you sent round 2, 7 days for the first one and 7 days for the second one, you finally send round 3. When you send round 3, that's when you add the proof of the inaccuracy. Now, the other thing that I don't like about the Better Business Bureau when it comes to sending these, if you send too many complaints in a certain period of time, they actually won't allow you to send any. To work around that, you can use a different email address, which I've seen that works, or just clear cache in your browser, or open up a private window, a incognito, or use Safari, then use Google Chrome or use Firefox when you send them. Because if they see in their history that you're sending the same one from the same IP, then they'll try to stop you from sending it. So that's the workaround. I just want to give you everything now, so in the comments, it's not asked later. But if you get that as some type of issue, those are your workarounds. You have to change some piece of information here. Sometimes it could be phone number. Sometimes it could be email, or clear cache, clear history, use a different browser, do it from your phone because the IP is different on here than it is on your computer and what you're using for your Wi-Fi. So, there's various ways to work around that. All right. Now, with that being said, this would be the way that you would get this done through the Better Business Bureau and how you would send every single round for your charge-offs. CFPB method is still valid at the time of recording this video. It's easier, in my opinion. I recommend going that route. But if you want to use this one, it's available to you if anything happens to the CFPB. It's good to have backup methods. Worst case scenario, if you had issues with this, your last resort is to take this same exact information here for round 1, send it in the form of a letter, and you can mail it. There's services online where you can actually send things certified and upload them online. There's mailing services like that. If you just don't want to go to the post office and do it yourself, you can Google those. I have no recommendations, but you can look it up yourself if you would like to do that. The final thing that I'll say is if you do want to have the letters as a template, I do have the Ultimate Credit Repair Guide. You can purchase that on the website. It has all this stuff already created for you, and you can just send it that way through the mail if you wanted to, or you'll have all of the verbiage and the body of all the text if you would like to go that route. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We have now updated with alternative methods to the CFPB, collections, charge-offs, done late payments. I'm going to put all the new methods in a separate playlist from the CFPB methods, or I'm going to create maybe 2 new playlists that says BBB and then CFPB. That way, if the CFPB has an issue, you already know this is the alternative method. So you guys can actually flip between both playlists and you can use both methods if you're having any issues. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you kind of skim through this video and I answered your question, I'm going to respond to you with the answers in the video. Unfortunately, when it comes to this, sometimes I get thousands of comments on one video. If you guys see any of my videos where I have 2,000 comments, I try to respond to everything. So understand that if there's 2,000 comments, I responded personally by hand with my own time 1,000 times. Unfortunately, I'm actually busier now than I've ever been. So it's way harder for me to answer emails. It's way harder for me to answer comments. Going forward, if it's something that I know I've already answered, I'm going to send a link, or I'm going to say the answer's in the video. I'm going to send one of those 2 things to save time for everyone. So if you have questions that I did not answer in the comments below, if you have questions that are very extensively long, I recommend booking a one-on-one coaching while that's still available. When it comes to credit repair, I'm phasing that out. I've been phasing it out very, very slowly. If you guys have noticed, I don't have as many slots available. If you want to book those, book them while they're still available. At the time of recording this video, they will probably be there for a few more months. So I recommend that while I'm still doing that, you book them if you have extensively long questions or you have a unique situation. If not, you can do this yourself. You don't need to talk to me. I will never do it for you. The only thing that I'm going to tell you is my opinion on what we're looking at. I will give you my opinion and what I would do in that situation. It's only me just recommending what I would do. I will not do it for you. It's not a credit repair service. I don't offer any type of credit repair services. It's just me answering questions to your specific situation and then telling you what you can do. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. You have a wonderful day.